Hi, my movie recommendation this week is Forbidden Planet from 1956. This film, oh my god, one of my favorite films of all time. Gene Roddenberry said that this film inspired him to create Star Trek. That's how much or how influential this film was. Some of the groundbreaking things it did. It had phenomenal special effects. It was nominated for um, visual effects for an Oscar. And you're wondering, well, did it win? And unfortunately, it didn't win because yet another movie came out with truly spectacular visual effects that year, and that was The Ten Commandments. But that's not to say that Forbidden Planet didn't have them. Oh my God, did Forbidden Planet have them? A large part of the budget for Forbidden Planet was in the construction of Robbie the Robot. You'll recognize Robbie the Robot. He is an icon. His design was unlike other robot designs at that time. Previously, all other robots looked like they were basically tin man wearing a tin suit. I mean, just very amateurish and clunky and just laughable. Robbie looked like an authentic robot. His design was wonderfully thought out. The guy who made him uh, came from a career of designing washing machines. So that fabrication process, you can kind of see that reflected in the structure of Robbie. He would later go on to design yet another robot that would become familiar to everybody, and that would be the robot from Lost in Space, otherwise known as the robot. But Robbie the Robot, not only did he star in this movie, but he quickly showed up in another movie, and then was used in multiple TV shows. Once you have Robbie, you might as well use Robbie. And so he's appeared numerous times in films. And that's yet another influence that this film had. Leslie Nielsen, who we all know as a really good comedic actor, well, he started doing those comedic roles later on in life. But the fact, because he has phenomenal timing and a fantastic straight face. But he was a good actor, and this is one of his other roles that he did early on that he played straight and made completely believable. The fact that these people were in space and they didn't look like they were a bunch of actors pretending to be in space. So also Robbie was an integral part of the action. He was thoroughly scripted in to the storyline on many levels. That was intriguing. Something else that was phenomenal about this movie. This movie had the first electronic soundtrack ever created. And I'm not even talking about synthesizers. Synthesizers hadn't even been invented yet. They were basically taking electronic components and running ampage through them to see what type of sounds they could produce from them on magnetic tape. And it was mind-boggling. No one had heard this sound before because this sound hadn't existed before then. And that they composed the entire soundtrack with this technology was just mind-boggling. And this sound became associated with science fiction. It just works on so many levels. I don't even bother have to tell you the story. The story is a good story. The special effects are fantastic. The acting's terrific. The visuals are wonderful. The whole film from start to finish is iconic. It's a stepping stone film, one that other films pay homage to, and have used as inspiration. Well, before I praise this film more, let me give you an idea of what was happening back in the day. So we're talking, this is 1956. It was the first time The Wizard of Oz played on TV. When I was growing up, that was a thing. Wizard of Oz would play at least once or twice a year, usually around Thanksgiving. It was the year that Elvis Presley got his first gold record. It was also the year that an actress named Norma Jean Mortensen decided to change her name to Marilyn Monroe. And most importantly, the Montgomery bus boycott. This was the year that the courts ruled that segregation on a bus was unconstitutional. And the repercussions of that just spread out. So it was a big year for civil rights. It was a big year in the movies. And whenever I was changing the channels around or saw that Forbidden Planet was going to come on, I tuned in. I couldn't help but watch it. And it's, even to this day, you're going to have to kind of Google around to try to find and hunt down Forbidden Planet in order to watch it. You may want to try checking out DVD at the library. But it's one of those films that still has worth financially to the people who have their ownership on it, because it's that important of a film, and also really that great of a film. So my recommendation is for this Friday night's movie is Forbidden Planet from 1956. Enjoy.